that go by numbers. 12/12 is a special day, and it was especially special on the year when it was 12/12/12. So any case, thank you for joining me for the meditation. Let's give it a moment or two and for everyone to join in, and we'll start the meditation. Thank you so much. Glad you're able to join this morning. And for those of you just joining in, let's give it just a minute or two and we'll start the meditation. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with the meditation. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Nice to have you all join me this morning. December 12th on Saturday, and it's a bit of a dreary, rainy day out there. It was that way yesterday, too, here in South Haven at my mom's place. For those of you who were meditating with me yesterday, I made kind of an abrupt end to the meditation about, I don't know, maybe 35-40 minutes into it. I was about ready to pass out, and I actually had to get on the floor so I wouldn't pass out and disturb my mom. And yeah, I had to get on the floor, and then I got back up, and I immediately went into a fever with something burning off. It was very hot, and I immediately started sweating. So I didn't know what was going on, with COVID and everything going on today. One never knows. I ended up going to bed after I finished the meditation, and I ended up sleeping from, I guess, when I finished the meditation, 10:45 till about maybe 7 or 8 hours later. I still have a bit of a headache. But I keep checking my temperature. My temperature seems to be okay. So I'm more concerned about Mom, honestly, just because she's been vulnerable. But she keeps doing a little bit better each day. So hopefully we're both safe and healthy. And like I said, my temperature seemed to come back fine. So I think we're good. And it was more tied in with an anxiety and stress that came into my meditation yesterday. And I'll share this with you for meditation purposes. When I have stress and anxiety come in, I don't fight it, and I kind of lean into it, to be honest with you. But whatever it was, evidently it was fairly intense for my body, and I still have a headache today, which I'm not a headache type person. So any case, but it's okay. I trust that everything's where it needs to be, and kind of burning off some old stress that keeps presenting itself. So it's all good. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's meditate. So if you haven't already got yourself comfortable, please do so, and just, whether you're on a couch, chair, bed, floor, just really just getting yourself comfortable where you can be conscious and awake for the meditation. And just taking in a nice deep breath. And just really being present for this moment. Just really being here, being now. And before I do all of my meditations, I light a candle, a white candle, because there is something to be said about having the different elements, the elements of water, fire, earth, air, And I also put incense on, kind of as a sacred ceremony, just like the Native Americans used to do, where with sage and smudging and kind of just clearing out the energy of the room and creating sacred space. And I do a prayer. I do a prayer to invite in, of course, God and Jesus and my other meditation teachers, and just I like to invite in nature as far as the sun, the moon, the earth. And I know sometimes the mind would question whether there's other entities here or not. I can only tell you from my perspective of the gratitude and love that I feel when I do the prayers, knowing that they're here, not just for me, but for you as well. And the belief that we're somehow separated in time and space is all just of a concept of the mind. One of my teachers one time meditated. He's fully enlightened, and he meditated what he thought was for only 15 minutes. And he really just disappeared into the emptiness, into the godliness that's within and all around us, is us. And in what he thought was 15 minutes, he woke up, can't remember, I believe it was 17 days later, and he had a crowd of people around him. Who is this yogi that can meditate through all elements and not eat or drink? And people became aware that he had something special to offer. But I share that with you not to make him special, because as Jesus has said, you can do all things I have done and even greater things. And I've tried to worship Jesus at different times, and I don't say this to anyone to try to sway you in any way. You don't have to believe anything I say, and I'm not here to convince you or persuade you of anything. But the times that I have tried to worship Jesus, he has always redirected me to God. And some might say, and depending on your Christian beliefs, some would certainly say, well, God and Jesus are the same. For me, there's a clear oneness, as if God is the ocean and we are each a drop of water out of that ocean. So we are one with God. We are God in a sense, but then there's also something that is the whole ocean. And we talk about Jesus being one with God, but a friend of mine who's very adept and was a deacon for many years spoke of that Jesus said that we are one with God as well. It wasn't just Jesus. So Jesus even spoke to this truth. So again, I'm just offering this to you, but I just want to share with you that I feel we are always bathed in the love and the light of God. And it's just rather we are open to receive it, that we are allowing it in. So I invite you right now to just let go of any beliefs or judgments or fears or anything that blocks you, just from allowing in the love, the blessings, the grace, the compassion, the healing energy of God itself. Or whatever you want to call it, life, the universe. And if you have another go-to, Buddha or Krishna, any of those is all good. But for me, feeling and knowing that God and God's team is here is just such a gift. And I'm not trying to I don't even want to use the word convince you that God is here. I don't want to provide anything that's just another belief for you. If you feel God, you feel God. If you don't feel God, you don't feel God. It's okay. It's okay. It took me years and years to feel God. And then when I started feeling God, all of a sudden there was a time when I was blocking God, and I didn't realize it, but I was blocking God from being, I'm not going to say being present, because God is present and is always present, and we can't ever stop God from, because we're part of that. We can't ever stop that energy, but we can block ourselves from recognizing that truth. And when I was doing that one time, it just felt so painful. It felt so painful to not feel God as part of my life. And so I just offer this to you. I offer this to you to just allow in all the love and support that God and all the saints and sages right now who are here right now in this moment, what they all have to offer you. And again, nobody is special out there. We all are of God. And I want to just go back to when I was speaking of one of my teachers meditating for 17 days or whatever, how many days it was. It was many days. I want to speak of the timelessness. When we are not resisting life, time disappears. The reason time exists is because of our resistance to life. In other words, there's those times where you are thoroughly enjoying yourselves. You're in your heart. You're in the present moment. You're living life to its fullest. You tell me how long that moment lasts. Because I know we've all had the experience where we're not thinking about time. We're not thinking about getting this over with. We're thinking about, how can I get this to last? But the truth is, how you get it to last is by letting go of all your resistance to life, so that there's only a divine flow with life and with God. And then, when life becomes effortless, time disappears. You become that eternal truth that you are. But we don't have to wait for our bodies and our minds to pass away. And I know there has never been any awakened teachers that say, yeah, you have to wait to die in order for that to happen. No. The kingdom of God is at hand. It's here right now in this moment. And I know the mind struggles to understand that because it can't understand that. The mind is always judging what is good and bad, and so that's the only thing it knows. It only knows logic. It doesn't know that which seems illogical. It doesn't seem logical that time doesn't exist. It doesn't seem logical to walk on water. It doesn't seem logical to raise the dead or heal the blind. But the truth is, we call it a miracle because it's something beyond what the mind can comprehend. And so, if you want to experience a miracle, then let go of the limitations of the mind, the limiting beliefs. And I've said this before, where my teacher, Sadashiva, said that when you move beyond the limitations of the mind, there's absolutely nothing that you can't create. If you want, he went on to say, if you want to touch the far side of the moon, you can touch the far side of the moon. If you want to see the end of the galaxy, you can see the end of the galaxy. Because remember, we are not a physical being. We have to look beyond when this body and this physical mind die. What is the intelligence that continues on? How do we access the memories of our life? How do we access this emptiness, this formlessness? Because if you see that you are not your body and your mind, you're nothing physical, then touching the far side of the moon certainly makes a lot more logical sense than if you believe you are some kind of form. There are many teachings that say that Jesus was in more than one place at one time, his physical form. How is that possible? So right now, I invite you to let go of what you would say is impossible. And I know when I had an awakening in 2015, just for a half dozen hours, maybe 6-8 hours, when I transcended my limited self, my small self, my ego self, my personality, I had a moment that said, oh my God, I had no idea of who I really was. All the workshops I had done, all the healing work that I had done, this and that, I had no idea who I truly was. But it was in that moment when I transcended the mind and all the beliefs of who I thought I was, for the first time, I had this awareness that, wow, all things truly are possible, except for those that I limit by my mind and my beliefs. And that was no longer a belief or a concept. It was an absolute knowing within myself as a truth. So if somebody tells me that I can't fly, or I can't heal the world, or I can't go travel to another galaxy, I just simply acknowledge, okay, thank you for sharing, but it's not my truth. And I use this phrase, heal the world, but we are not here to heal the world. I just want to be clear with that. Everyone thinks that they need to do all these good deeds and save the world and save humanity and be a healing vessel. You know, for me, that's all nonsense. Why is it nonsense? It doesn't mean you can't do good in the world, but unfortunately, a lot of people feel they need to do good in the world because the world needs saving. There's only one thing that really is needed, and that is to transcend your limited self. And then the reality around you will change. In essence, you've healed the world because you've healed yourself and the reality and the lens that you've been looking through. And look, I know I'm saying a lot of far out things that the mind is going to be saying, Brett, this is bullshit. You're telling me that I can completely heal the world by healing myself? Actually, that is what I'm saying. and I'm not interested in adding to another belief within yourself. All I'm doing is inviting you to let go of all those limited beliefs that would keep you from knowing the truth. And then you can decide for yourself what the truth is. So right now, I'm inviting you to empty out everything absolutely everything. Your beliefs, your fears, your feelings, your experiences, all the past, all the future. Because you, the core truth of who you are, is the only thing that you cannot empty out. You are already empty. You are emptiness itself. You are formless and timeless. And you are one with our beloved Creator. But don't just take my words. Don't just believe my words. I'm just inviting you to explore with me of emptying out everything that you are not, so that the one thing that will remain is who you truly are. And I can tell you that you are not only loved, but you are love itself. And I can tell you that you are peace itself. I can tell you that you are joy itself. I can tell you that you are life itself. But it's not enough to just believe me or believe that. That's not enough. We're transcending all beliefs, even those that you would judge as good. Because the truth of who you are is pure emptiness beyond good and bad. And I know the mind always struggles with this, beyond good or bad. You're telling me that there's not anything bad going on in the world? What if everything is exactly the way it needs to be and is here to awaken you to the truth of who you are? It's here so that you can see and ask the question, why am I stressed? Why am I not in joy? Why am I not in love? Why am I not living as the truth of who I am right now in this moment? And life comes along. Maybe sometimes we feel like we get slapped around a little bit. We all have that experience. But what we call being slapped around, God is calling grace, compassion, because God doesn't want you to live a limited life. God is saying, no, no, no. You are so much more than that. You are one with me. Come with me. Join me. And you can join me by letting go of all this nonsense you've been holding on to. And I'm bringing you this in life so that you can recognize the things that are holding you back from just being pure peace, love, and joy. So what you're calling me challenging you, I am calling grace. Sometimes when my mind wants life to be a certain way, and we can all relate to this, I think most people politically, no matter what side you're on, everybody wanted it to play out a certain way. And I noticed that in my own mind. I wanted it to turn out a certain way. But then, fortunately, I had the wherewithal to say, Father, let thy will be my will. I don't want to create a life that I want. I want to create a life that is in alignment with thy will, because I know thy will is calling forth far more than I could ever recognize as peace, joy, and love. I know that your will is creating a life for me far better than I could ever possibly imagine. So I simply ask myself the question, do I want my life to be the way I think it should be? Or do I want my life to be the way God would have it, and as my core truth would have it? my soul, my God essence, the very core of who I am, wants the same thing that God does. And it quite oftentimes looks different than what our mind or our ego wants. So right now, I invite you to let go of all your attachments as to how you think life needs to play out in order for you to experience the joy of who you are, the joy of life, the bliss of life, the bliss of God itself. For most of you who meditate with me, there's nothing that I have shared that is new. Occasionally I'll say something that comes from a different angle and maybe sounds new in some ways. And sometimes when I'm not being conscious and aware, my mind will say, well, geez, Brett, you're saying the same thing over and over again. I don't know why that is. What I feel in my heart is because we keep chipping away at the rock that surrounds the diamond, the charcoal. We keep chipping away at it, where more of the diamond begins, the more of the light, the more of the love begins to shine through. And it's just by clearing out all those things that help us to see that that diamond, that light, that love has always been there. And it will always be there. There's nothing you can do to ever get rid of you. Nothing. There is not one single thing that you have ever done or one single thing that you will ever do that will block you from still being the truth of who you are. You can only block your perception and realization of who you are, but you cannot block, you cannot ever get rid of who you are. And you don't need to travel somewhere to be your truth. You don't need to go to India or travel hike the mountaintop. You don't need to find some guru who will. You can if you want. That's fine. Some people like to do that. I don't have any issue with that. But I'm just saying, you are the guru. You are the love. You are the light. You are perfect in alignment with God itself. But the mind has a difficult time believing this. But when those thoughts come up that would have you believe otherwise, I say to you, I'm not here to add to your beliefs or to persuade you or convince you. But the question is really, are you going to allow your mind to convince you of what's true? Are you going to allow your mind to persuade you of what it thinks the truth is? The truth is that you can never be diminished. Never. Only an idea of who you think you are can be diminished. I've been noticing some stress in my life, and I know my mind is wanting to make it someone else. That they're saying these things and they're bringing stress in my life. But let's just be honest. Let's be honest. It has nothing to do with the other person. Nothing. It never does, and it never will. And if it did have something to do with the other person, how sad. How sad that we have to wait for somebody else to change in order to experience the joy that is here right now in this moment. When we play victim to life, when we blame other people or other situations, we cannot heal it because we are thinking or believing that the problem is outside of ourselves. But it never is. Never. And that's good news. It's good news because we are 100% responsible for our life, which means we have the power to change anything about our life. For many years, my mantra has been a verse out of the Bible. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else shall be added unto you. And quite frankly, that is enough. I've had times where I've had possibilities of making a lot of money working at a mortgage company, and they were playing tricks and games. And I had gone on my second interview with them, and they said, "We didn't choose you, we chose someone else, sorry." And I knew exactly what they were doing. They were waiting to see how I would respond. Like, was I willing to take no? Because after all, I was going to be selling mortgages to other people, and they wanted me to respond, knew exactly what they were doing. I left it alone. I knew that working for this company, I would be selling out. That it now became me getting a job that was focused on money rather than my awakening. And I actually feel really good and even a bit emotional. I'm really grateful for my path. Because in truth, to seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else shall be added unto you, I didn't need anything else. And because of that, I feel like my relationship with God continues to expand, and I continue to expand deeper and deeper into the full conscious awareness of who I am. And there is no amount of money that can ever, ever, ever replace that. And what I also have found that somehow during this time, God always finds a way to take care of me. Always having food on the table, a nice home to live in, a beautiful family. Money's there when I need something to do something. And I am grateful for that. I feel grateful right now, and I don't know who's out there right now. I can only say that I love you. And I can only say that I'm here to support you in really letting go of all those things that block you from recognizing that you are love itself. And yes, it's nice when somebody says that you love you from a personality or ego point of view. But beyond the ego, beyond the personality, beyond all the stories of who you think you are, you don't need one other person to love you because you are love itself. And so lately, God has been presenting me with things where I'm feeling judged by others sometimes. Can I just be consciously aware of that, to allow them to judge me, and to still love them, and to still love myself, to be myself? And my mind and my ego said, no, I don't like this lesson. This person is wrong of how they're talking to me. No, they're not. They're here to reflect back to me where something is out of alignment within myself. Something is blocking me from recognizing that I don't need their approval and I don't need their love. That I am love. And you are love. So just bringing your awareness to your breath. which brings you back to the present moment where you're just witnessing the breath. You don't need to do anything with it. It happens all by itself. So you're just the witness of the breath. And it also brings you back home to who you are. When you have the thought, any thought, wow, I just wish I would have done that differently. I feel really bad about that. Who is it that is aware of that thought? Because our mind would have us believe that we are the thought, that the mind is our master and us its slave, and that the mind will guide you to happiness. The mind will provide all these solutions to you. So we believe all these thoughts that the mind tells us is true. My simple question is, if that is the truth, then who is it that is aware of that thought? Who is it that's aware of your physical mind? Who is it that's aware of your pinky finger right now? Who is it that's aware of what you're sitting or lying on? Who is it that is aware of my voice, or maybe the sound of rain or something around you? Who is it that is aware of the taste and the sights? All the senses. You are not any of the thoughts or even the feelings. Who is it that's aware that you say, I am feeling sad? Who is feeling sad? Because if you are the one who is feeling sad, who is the one that is conscious and aware that you're sad? See, you can take away the sadness or disappointment or the love or the joy or any feeling, any emotion, any thought, any belief. You can take that away and there will still be conscious awareness. But what you cannot do is take conscious awareness away and be aware and have a feeling or a thought, because who is there to be conscious and aware of the thought or the feeling? Without consciousness that you have feelings, feelings could not exist. Your life could not exist. This, what I'm sharing with you, is really such a juicy bit of awareness to help you to awaken to who you are. But I want to just back it up even a little bit more. For those of you who are aware, you're having a thought, or you're aware of my voice, you are the one being aware. But I want to take it back a little bit further, because it's actually your small self that is being aware of that. Who is the one that is actually aware that you are being aware of the thought? Who is the one that is actually aware of the one who is aware of a feeling? Who is the one that is aware that you are aware of the sounds? That is your core truth. That is home. Some people may get this, and some people may not. This is not a race. This is not a competition. If you're not understanding what I'm sharing, simply be aware of that thought and that belief, and just simply allow it to pass on by. Don't try to understand that, because that will put you in your head. You're just being conscious and aware. Oh, okay, I'm not getting what he's saying. Just notice that thought. Oh man, I really want to get what he's saying. Can you notice that thought? Does it even do any good what he's sharing with me? I'm just not getting it. Can you notice that thought? Be aware of that thought. So we're going to step into the stillness. Don't try to still your mind, because trying to still your mind, the mind will get busy trying to figure out how to still the mind. So it only creates a busyness in your mind. So when a thought presents itself, just simply notice it and don't fight against it, correct it. Don't struggle with it. Don't try to get rid of it. No. You don't have to say, oh, I shouldn't be thinking that way. That is a thought. Allow that thought to gently and effortlessly pass on by and come back to being aware of your breath. And let's practice that right now. And if your mind has drifted, just simply come back to being aware of the breath, which brings you back to the present moment and back to who you are. Conscious awareness. And again, just coming back to being consciously aware of your breath. And if you have any resistance at all, I invite you just to let go of all of it so that you can be the timeless truth that you are. And if you can't let go of it, it's okay. Just notice it. Don't fight it. Oh, I see I'm holding on to some stress that I feel like I can't let go of. Just notice it. Just be aware of that. Don't make it bad or wrong. It's just an experience. And you might have thoughts about that experience. It's okay. Just come back to being aware of your breath. And again, just coming back to being aware of your breath. Just staying as conscious and aware as you can. And then when your mind drifts, coming back to the moment.
How do you feel? Are we still on?
And just coming back to being aware of the breath. And we're going to begin to bring this meditation to completion. If you'd like to continue meditating, please mute or turn your device off. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it a lot. And for those of you who are ready to finish, just taking in a nice deep breath. And just making sure you're bringing energy back into this form, this body that helps us to get around in this lifetime. And maybe wiggling your fingers, toes, stretching a little bit. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And I'm just going to take a quick peek over if anyone wants to say hi on Facebook, just to see who joined us. We actually had quite a few people today. 6 on Facebook. I think there were 7 at one time. And probably Sandy on YouTube. So hi Cheryl, good morning my friend, good morning. Thanks for joining. I'm so happy you've been able to join lately, Cheryl. That's wonderful. So I'm going to take a peek over here on YouTube as well. Michelle, hi Michelle. Thank you for joining my friend. And if anyone else wants to comment, you can. I'm going to just check out YouTube for a moment here. And thank you for joining my friend. And there's Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for joining. I'm so happy to have you here. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just head back over to Facebook. So, okay, and oh, you were fully participating today, Cheryl. Okay, good, good. So whoever else is on there, great. Nobody ever has to reveal. Okay, Kelly. Thanks for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you were able to join. So, okay, you guys, I'm going to bow out. Thank you. I really appreciate you being with me. I would do this anyhow, but it's always nice to know that I have company out there. And to me, anytime there are 2 or more gathered, there's energy and power behind it. So I'm grateful for that. So, all right, everybody. Hi, Nancy. Good morning to you. Good morning. You guys have a beautiful day. You got a little bit of, I don't know if you could hear the rain in the background as it's hitting against the skylights on the roof here at Mom. So a little added bonus for the meditation there. So, okay, no meditation tomorrow. I'm speaking Unity of Grand Rapids. If anybody wants to join, I'll be on Zoom and I believe Facebook. And other than that, I'll be meditating on Monday morning. Have yourself a beautiful day, my friends. Namaste. And thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Cheryl.